Have you ever felt left out by your friends, family, or colleagues? Think about the disappointment. Now multiply it by the size of a planet. That's Pluto. For 76 years, Pluto was the ninth planet in our solar system. But on August 24, 2006, everything changed. The International Astronomical Union made a decision that broke millions of hearts. Pluto was no longer a planet. But why did Pluto get demoted? Why this controversy still matters almost 2 decades later? And most importantly, what really is a planet? The year is 1930. Astronomer Clyde Tombaugh at Lowell Observatory in Arizona was searching for a mysterious planet X that he believed was disturbing Neptune's orbit. After months of painstakingly comparing photographic plates, he spotted a tiny dot moving against the backdrop stars. There it was. The world celebrated the discovery of the ninth planet, and an 11-year-old girl named Venetia Burney suggested naming it Pluto, after the Roman god of the underworld. For decades, Pluto enjoyed its planetary status. It was small, cold, and distant, taking 248 years to orbit the Sun. But it was ours, the ninth planet, the underdog of our solar system. But here's the thing, astronomers never really knew what they are dealing with. Early estimates suggested Pluto might be as big as Earth. As telescopes improved, those estimates kept shrinking. First it was smaller than Mars, then smaller than Mercury, then smaller than Earth's moon. By the 1970s, we realized Pluto was tiny, only about 1400 miles across. Still, it was a planet, right? The definition seemed obvious. Planets are those big things that orbit the Sun. Pluto orbited the Sun. Case closed. Except it wasn't that simple. In 1992, astronomers discovered something that would ultimately seal Pluto's fate, the Kuiper Belt. This is a vast region beyond Neptune filled with thousands of icy objects left over from the formation of the solar system. Think of it as the solar system's attic, packed with cosmic debris. And Pluto was sitting right in the middle of it. Suddenly, astronomers discovered that Pluto wasn't alone out there. It wasn't some unique ninth planet. It was one object among many in the crowded belt of ice and rock. As telescopes improved through the 1990s and early 2000s, astronomers kept finding more objects in the Kuiper Belt, some nearly as large as Pluto. The crisis came in 2005 when astronomer Mike Brown and his team discovered Eris, an object in the scattered disk beyond the Kuiper Belt. Initial observations suggested Eris might be even larger than Pluto. Brown nicknamed it Xena after the TV warrior princess, but the implications were serious. If Eris was bigger than Pluto and orbited the Sun, doesn't that make Eris another planet? What about other large Kuiper Belt objects? Are we willing to teach our children about 10 planets, 50 planets, 100 planets? Astronomers faced an uncomfortable truth. We had never actually defined what a planet was. We had been operating on tradition and intuition, not necessarily science. In August 2006, the International Astronomical Union gathered in Prague for their General Assembly. Over 2,000 astronomers from around the world debated, argued, and ultimately voted on a formal definition of a planet. The definition they settled on requires 3 criteria. 1. A planet must orbit the Sun. 2. A planet must have enough mass and gravity to pull itself into a roughly spherical shape. 3. A planet must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. That third criterion was the killer for Pluto. What does it mean to clear your neighborhood? Essentially, the planet has to be the gravitationally dominant object in its orbit. Earth doesn't share its orbital space with thousands of similar-sized objects. Neither does Jupiter or Mars. They have either absorbed, ejected, or captured everything else nearby. Pluto hasn't done this. It shares the Kuiper Belt with countless other icy bodies. Its mass is only 0.07% of the mass in its orbital zone. By contrast, Earth's mass is 1.7 million times greater than everything else in its orbit combined. Under this new definition, Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet, objects that satisfied the first two criteria but not the last one. Eris joined it in this category, along with Ceres in the asteroid belt and several other objects. But many critics had problems with this clearing the neighborhood criteria. By this strict definition, Earth, Mars, Jupiter and Neptune wouldn't qualify as planets either, since they share their orbits with asteroids and other objects. The definition seemed arbitrary. Others argued from sentiment. Pluto was culturally important. Generations had grown up learning about the 9 planets. Why fix something if it isn't broken? But supporters of the new definition countered that science must be based on logic, not nostalgia. Otherwise, we'd face the absurd prospect of an ever-expanding list of planets. Whatever side of this argument you are on, Pluto is still the fascinating world it always was. We know now it has 5 moons, a heart-shaped nitrogen ice plain, methane mountains, and a complex atmosphere. The New Horizons spacecraft 2015 flyby revealed a geologically active world far more dynamic than anyone expected. Being called a dwarf planet doesn't diminish Pluto's importance or interest. If anything, it helped us understand Pluto better. Not as a failed planet, but as the king of the Kuiper Belt, the largest known member of a vast family of icy worlds that holds clues to our solar system's formation.